Okay, so today I'm going to show you all of our new features for the last couple of weeks. This video is going to be divided into basically two big parts. One part is I'm going to give you an overview of the three biggest things, maybe four, that we've shipped. The second part will be how do you actually set this up? Not from like a Hinto point of view, but like how do you actually do some of this nitty-gritty work using Hinto in the background? And what I mean by that is specifically, how do you generate some of your keywords for SEO using ChatGPT with the context that you make inside of Hinto? Because SEO is like a big thing. But anyway, let's start with the biggest improvements right now that we've made to the product. And the first one is I'm going to dive in and show you how I generate some of my blog posts using Hinto. And from here, there's a new feature. And the new feature is that finally, after a lot of requests that came from various companies at different stages of maturity and different teams working on internal documentation, external documentation, blog posting, releases, a lot of them came back with the same thing. Hey, we've developed our own tone of voice for how our brand communicates to people. We want that brand tone of voice to be translated into all of our documentation, whether it's internal documentation, all the way to how we talk to our users in help articles. Yes, from the videos, Hinto only makes articles from what you said. We don't make up stuff. We train the models not to do that. However, we can't actually control exactly specifically how words are put together from the context that you're sharing in an unstructured way in video. And so now you can kind of guide it, and you can either create your own tone of voice or you can upload one. So when you tap in the languages menu, when you tap on edit, you can now make your tone of voice. And all you do is you select what kind of tone you want, details. Do you want lots of details? Do you want to be verbose and very thorough on how well you explain everything in detail? So if you're writing instructions for AI agents, that's actually really good to do in a thorough way. Is it we or you, or some imperative version of that? Or is it all about being minimal with images, or do you want to document every step? So if you're trying to use Hinto instead of Scribe, which charges you a lot of money, you can basically stick to every step. And then you can tap and build your tone of voice. Now this is just a draft. It's basically a prompt. This is how things sometimes look on the back end for us. You can edit the prompt, so you can delete parts of it that you don't want, or you can go the extra mile and basically write out rules like in this description for preferred phrases, what the tone should be like, whatever you've already developed. Maybe you can already cheat, and if you've been using ChatGPT or Claude stuff, there's a source link, and I'll show you how to get to that. But basically, you can just use whatever you're using already for tone of voice in AI and just reuse it here. So once you tap save, it's all done, it's configured, and then when you add new videos and start generating content, you can actually then make it using your current tone of voice that you have, brand voice that you've established. So you will have to either, if you already have content made, you can remake it, and all you do is you tap the remake button here and tap regenerate, and that's it. And you have to do this article by article. Or for whatever new video you use to create content, that's going to already incorporate your tone of voice. To give you a practical example of this, we've been experimenting with one of our partners, Gentler Streak, about how to do this. And basically, in their tone of voice, I can give you a sneak peek of something we've been testing. Some of this is context and just descriptions for like some names that are mentioned in the videos are descriptors for title sections and insights tab. In the insights tab, they're nothing else. Don't use that everywhere else, just to know that that's what you need. So this is the kind of stuff you can upload, and the more thorough you are, the better. It adds clarity for Hinto about how to structure your content. Now, these rules will apply to all of the translations that you do. So in this case, what we were testing out is the French version of the product, and now you can add rules for the translation itself. You can specify basically the English version or the main language that you're using and the secondary version. Everything in translations is derived off of the main language that you've created content for, but then you can basically map out the conditions. So, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce this, but active energy is this in French. And so then Hinto can just basically use that as a guide to translate everything correctly. And if you add this after you've added a language to Hinto, all you do is you press retranslate all articles. You don't have to do anything else. All the articles will get retranslated for you. And so then when you publish everything, if you're using Hinto to publish your product, right, with us, or your documentation or your blogs, you will essentially see something like this. You'll see an article that you've created in English, a knowledge-based article, a blog post, whatever you're publishing externally. And there's a new language switcher here on the right side. And so if you click over to French, you can read the article in French. Now, keep in mind, this is not how people will probably access this information. They're not going to go in one language and most likely click over to another one. They might, but chances are you're going to get the majority of your users to these pages from Google or from large language models like ChatGPT. So the path in to these pages will be a French person, let's say, will dive into this article and see this page. And then they'll read it, and then if they want to read more, they'll go back to the homepage. Now, here you'll notice one little thing. Here, the descriptions are in English. You might wonder why. Well, we've decided not to translate these automatically for you because we've been hearing that actually this is a way for you to customize your keywords. Now, keywords are important for SEO and getting users to your product pages. So we decided that this is something that you might want to configure. And now you can, per language. So if you go to your project settings, and if you're publishing your project with us, if you go to layouts, and then scroll down, here, per language, you can customize keywords. In the practical session, I'll tell you how to fill all of this out. So you can customize per language, the title, the subtitle, and the description. And these will really, really help you rank better inside of Google. Finally, I wanted to show you one extra feature for all of our paid users that we've added, because we've heard that actually what you're doing with Hinto is you're starting with one use case, like help center documentation, and then you're using it to create SOP instructions for your team or for your AI agents, or you're using us for knowledge-based work, and then you're creating a blog post for your company using our product. So every time before, you would need to upload a new video. You'd need to do it for every type of project, even if you're reusing the same video. And we got a lot of feedback that, hey, that's really inconvenient. I would really want to be able to just upload once and reuse across projects. And now you can. All you do is when you're uploading a video, you have project videos. So these are all the videos that are in this particular project, and workspace videos. And so then if you're a solopreneur, you will have access to all of the videos in your workspace. Now, for bigger teams who are using Hinto together at different points of the day, we also made it so that you can share videos across each project. The only guardrail that we added is that you can't use another person's video if you are not a member of both projects, the one you're working on and the one that you want to grab the video from. This is a data privacy setting. It can't be overridden. So just make sure that if you're in a single workspace and someone is paying for it, maybe not even you, then you basically make sure that you are in both projects. And then resharing and reusing videos is super, super easy. Now to the practical part. It's very short, but it could really tremendously speed you up. So you're creating a lot of context using your product. And I'll show you a quick example of this, right? If you're using Hinto a lot and you're documenting everything, like us, all of our help articles are obviously written using and made using Hinto, right? All of the extensive ones that we've made here. We are using this as context about our product when we complete other tasks using AI. And the way this works is basically everything, you might have heard about this. I'm sure you're very advanced. Claude MD, a fancy version of naming Markdown. All these .md files, right? Or HTML is the most recent one. It's much better than Markdown, right? So it's all about sharing context with the LLM. If it has awareness of how your product or your process works, it can help you do a lot more and a lot faster. So I have our file here, and I always just grab the latest version when we create updates, and I download it. I download the TXT version, not the Markdown version. Of course you can, but I'm lazy, so this is just a little bit quicker for me. And it's this file over here. How does that file look like? Well, let me show you how it looks like for us. We have it at the bottom of our page. If you publish with us, you get this for free as well. So this is basically a long list, a string of text that covers everything about our product that we know. And this file theoretically helps LLMs read it faster and understand what our product does better, which then helps us grow in SEO because it has context about us, and in AI. And so then what I've set up in ChatGPT a long time ago is I have a folder, a project called Hinto. And there's this tab here called Sources. I'm sure you've used it before. And this is what ChatGPT can reference and relate it to a topic. And I have here the actual, LLMs TXT that I showed you. And this is the file that I use to just complete tasks. So let's say the task is, let's go back here very quickly. So if you remember, let's go into settings and let's basically go into this hero customization thing. And I need to create a title for my documentation, right? And I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say create, please don't judge my spelling, create these things for me in German. And so it's going to read the context of Hinto, and it's going to create the title, the subtitle, and things like that. Obviously, I'd structure this a little bit better, but doing a demo. And you can see here, it's referencing the project file that I gave it. And that's a game changer, because then suddenly intimidating things like this, where you're like, oh man, I have to create a title, a subtitle, a description, they turn into very, very quick, efficient pieces of work. And you can also then, specify it, right? So you can go deeper and you can say, okay, great, optimize this for best practice SEO in 2026. And yes, in theory, you should do more research on this. Yes, you should get help from a friend. But if you're trying to complete a task, the first step of it, of I'm done with this thing, this is what you can start with. And you can say that, your task is done. I've always had bosses that like tasks getting completed. And then you can go in and just basically complete it. And that's how you can use rich context that you're creating with Hinto to complete more things with AI in a more correct, or as they say in the UK, proper way. And that's our first little practical tip of the day. Thanks. Let us know what you think, and hope to see you soon.